Hi and welcome. I'm Lisa. Thanks for joining me here on the Whimsy Stamps channel for the Pocket Full of Fun video hop. I need to let you know that the next stop along the hop is in the description box below, along with all the details. Please be sure you check those details out. Just hop along, leaving a comment at each stop. There are only 5 stops for a chance to win a $25 gift certificate to the Whimsy Stamps online shop. Now, each one of the video team members will be using pocket dies from Whimsy along with a few other products. I'm kicking this off with a military inspired card since tomorrow is Military Appreciation Day. The first thing I wanted to do was to create a camouflage pattern using the military camo background cling red rubber stamp. So I'm stamping this several times, and in between stamping, I'm going to rotate the paper and shift it just a tad in the MISTI. It doesn't matter which way you shift it, left, right, up, or down, that doesn't matter. Now I'm using dye inks for this in a few shades of olive, rich cocoa, and black. You're going to notice how when I apply the ink to this stamp, I don't cover the entire stamp. And my thought process was this would help me create a more random camouflage pattern. Now, I'm happy with the stamping, I then need to fill in that white space that was left. So I'm going to use a very soft olive color, my blender brush, and just lightly go over the whole pattern. Now this would be more along the lines of an old school BDU. If you want a more modern look, you could just Google the branch of service to find it, and then you could easily print it off and die cut it. Now I'm ready to go ahead and do my die cutting. So I have the Slimline pocket dies here, and I'm going to cut the pocket and that pocket flap. I'm just laying the pieces down over that stamped paper. I'm going to secure them in place with some Scotch removable tape, and then we'll crank this through the machine. Now this is such a simple card to make, so we're ready to assemble it now. I do want to let you know that I took an 8.5 by 11-inch piece of green cardstock and I cut that at the 4-inch mark. Now I cut it on the 11-inch length, and that left me with 4-inch by 8.5-inch piece and a 7-inch by 8.5-inch piece. Now that 4-inch piece, of course, I cut down to 3.5 inches so I could run it through the thatched embossing folder, which you see here. And I'm going to do a little bit of swiping ink over this to bring out those raised areas a little bit more. You want to use a very light hand with this. You don't want to apply pressure. You just want to glide that ink pad over that raised design. Now, my thought process for this was hoping that this would look like texture, kind of like with fabric, with my card. I do wish I had have stamped my whole panel to match my camouflage. Of course, I see that now as I'm watching the video. So I'm going to add some glue to the back of that embossed paper and go ahead and add it to my Slimline card base. And then we'll go ahead and start assembling the pocket so that we can add it to our card. I'm going to start by folding the flaps back. This is so easy because the die does the work for you by embossing those fold lines. Now I added liquid adhesive to the back of that flap tab and secured that in place to the back side of the pocket. I left the front of the pocket free. I want to use a square foam adhesive between it and the actual pocket to create a little bit of dimension. So I'm adding heavy duty double-sided tape to the back side of each tab so I can go ahead and secure this to my card base. I am going to go ahead and add that black button with glue as well. So after I secure the pocket in and I get the button on, that's where I decided to change the plan up a little bit. I decided that I would actually forego the thanks because I was going to use that thanks word kind of like a name tape across the top of the pocket. And then I decided against that, and I decided I would go ahead and cut the 3.5-inch wide strip from the Simple Sentiment Strips die set twice, once out of white cardstock and then once out of that darker green cardstock. Now I use that soft olive ink to cover the white cardstock completely. And then I'm going to come in and ink up the edges of the dark green cardstock. I'm stamping the sentiment, Extraordinary Courage, from the Such and Such stamp set. I'm loving this sentiment and I absolutely love this stamp set. We'll go ahead and add this to the card base with some glue. So the next step, I just took a piece of white cardstock and I cut it to 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Then I inked the entire piece of cardstock up with that soft olive ink and my blender brush. I stamped the word such onto it with black ink. And now I'm going to come in with a fine tip black pen to create a faux stitching around this to make it look like a patch. After I take my ruler and add that faux stitching around it, I'll use glue and go ahead and adhere it to the card base directly above the little name tape that we did with the sentiment on it. And that's going to wrap us up for this card. Now don't forget to leave a comment below, then head to the next stop along the hop. It's linked directly below for you. You have until May 17th to leave a comment at each stop for a chance to win that $25 gift certificate Whimsy is offering. Now for more information on the products I used in the video, you can follow the links below and head over to the Whimsy Stamps website to check that out there. Please know how much we appreciate you taking the time to join us. And until next time, take care.